Alright, welcome back from Desk Blow. Now I have with me a very talented up and coming rapper right here. Man, I won't front, we recently been put on to him, but we went and found his discography and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. So, for further introductions, I'd like to proudly introduce Starker.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
How you doing today, Ken, during this lockdown?
It's alright. I just came back to do a little grocery shopping. Picked up a couple things.
Okay. Did you get the new currency toilet paper?
Nah, man, I ain't getting none of that yet,
Man, that shit is like gold out here. Man, from going from your discography, man, I was greatly impressed by your pride in your lyricalism too. So I wanted to reach out and wanted to know, like, how old are you?
I am currently 26. I was born in 93.
Okay, so you're not that far from me. You're like 2 years off. Okay, so that makes sense that we grew up in the same era now too. So I was curious now that we come from an era where we're kind of in the middle between the new school and the old school era now too. And when I took pride in your lyrics, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this kid actually went back and did his homework now. So I was curious, like, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Oh, man, I've been listening to hip hop my whole life, since birth. I've been just like in front of it. Like, I can't really act like anybody brought it to me or anything like that. Like, I could say back in like 2006 or some shit, I took a trip to Florida. My uncle introduced me to LimeWire, and from there it was off. Like, once I got LimeWire, I was able to actually find the music that I wanted to listen to and not keep having to depend on my cousins lending me their CDs and shit. So that's when shit got lit.
Okay, and for the people who don't know LimeWire, no, that shit would give your computer STD. We ain't even front on that.
Mm-hmm.
And all the Soulja Boy remixes when trying to download 50 Cent, shit like that. Man, I hated that.
Everything, man. I used to just type Wu-Tang. I would type Wu-Tang, and I would get anything. Anything that it came from typing Wu-Tang, I got fucking Arsonist, Ill Bill, fucking Gravediggers, Mobb Deep, a lot. I mean, I knew Mobb Deep prior too, but that's how ambiguous my search was. I didn't know exactly what I was searching for. I just typed Wu-Tang and like whatever Wu-Tang type things, shit that'll come by, I download it and I bump it. And I make little mixtapes. I had little mixtapes to come home with from Florida when I was done with that little vacation and shit.
Okay. Now, when people discover the Wu-Tang, they go on a little bit of a rabbit hole when they discover it, because that sound is just so grasping. Now, I was curious, like, after like LimeWire and things like that too, when you're able to like access music like in a more accessible way, can you remember like the very first Wu-Tang album that you listened to in its entirety? Like, even solo members too count.
I had first bought the purple tape. I first bought the purple tape.
Oh shit!
At Best Buy. Years. You know what? I'm lying. The first solo Wu-Tang album I heard was Ghostface, and it was More Fish. And,
okay.
Yeah, so I bought it when it came out. It wasn't a thing that like I dug. You know what I mean? Like, that was just like they were playing. You Know I'm No Good with him and homegirl that passed away.
Oh, Amy Winehouse, yes.
Yeah, rest in peace. So when that shit dropped, it was like, like I knew I liked it enough. Like, when I seen it at Best Buy, I was like, I'm gonna just get it. And then like when I got it, it had gems in it. Like, it had like the shit with the MF Doom beat and all this crazy Guns N' Roses and all these other songs that I'm like, damn, this like Ghost is crazy. So then like after that, I dug into a deeper wormhole, because like I was listening to Ghostface that year that shit dropped, and that same year I kind of like, I was in like the 8th grade and I got into a relationship, and then like the girl that I was with, she whatever, regular shit happens when you're in a relationship with girls, and it didn't work out. So then like I was Fresh Nace at the time. My favorite movie was Fresh, this and the third, Fresh Prince, all this other shit. Everybody was on that, Fresh Prince shit. The Fresh Prince hat came out in New York. It was like a hat that you would buy in the street or on eBay, and it was like, I had a couple different patterns on it, like dashiki-esque, like it's just crazy old school retro shit. Like when retro first came back in like 2008, I was all over it. So then that Fresh Nace shit went to Ghost Nace, because like I was just like not fucking with anybody, and I just went Ghost. And like Ghostface had that song Wildflower, and that shit kind of gave me like a new leg. Like, oh, I got into a breakup, Wildflower. Like, I never heard a rapper like talk about you most of the time hear R&B, like you hear him singing and he's in pain and all this shit, and then Ghostface did Wildflower, and you're like, bam, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? So I started to rock with him real much after that, cause you know, like,
yeah, that personal connection.
Yeah, it was too much. It was too much for me to stray away from. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, this nigga knows. You know what I mean? So after that,
wow, I can only imagine, because I like how you said like more fish, and I can only, because like that was like kind of a sequel to the Fish Scale album too. I can only imagine when you found Fish Scale too.
Yeah. More Fish. Like I said, More Fish had the single. I went and grabbed it. And then like that was the real wormhole. If I want to be honest, sometimes I like to say that it was when I got into that breakup, but the fact is, I had that album the year of. So, like, that album, it kind of just happened in time that, like, I was like, man, let me see what else Ghostface got to say. And then I just started finding everything he did, and everything he did was just so fucking crazy to me that it was just so hard not to hear what they had to say as a group, not to hear what Jizza had to say, not to hear what, you know what I'm saying, Ray had to say, ODB. I bought everybody's album singularly afterwards. Afterwards, everybody got my money, or at least, you know, the record label did, or whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, whoever.
Yeah, people at the register started getting my money. Like, LimeWire was cool, but then, like, once I started to deal with artwork and the booklet and you know what I mean? Then I'm spending money. LimeWire was like, that was null and void. So then I started to deal with physicals.
Yeah, because you get in like the actual full project too, and you can just sit back and it's like, holy shit, what the hell did I just listen to? Mm-hmm. You can see who produced it, and if the name's like actually not on the back cover, that's where you have the booklet and stuff like that. Like a lot of things like that in hip hop's missing now.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Man, well, that's crazy now too, because everybody has that Wu-Tang wormhole they all go through now too. So, and it even shows like within your lyrics as too, because like I didn't want to start off, but like, damn, bro, like you really inspired by Ghostface now too. But like it really shows like how their generation deeply impacted our generation now too, in a more positive way now too, because we could be out here now like turning the fuck up and like, you know, doing a bunch of Xanax and stuff like that, but you choosing to like choose pride and like rapping over trap beats, like, you know, there's some people that do that and think that's cool, but you know, you take pride in your lyrics now. So I was curious, for the people who like that are just brand new to you now, did you always go by your name, or did you have like a couple other names when you first started?
No, this was it.
Oh, okay. So that was straight up. So I was curious, like, cause like is it inspired by Tony Stark's?
I mean, yeah. The whole thing was like Fresh Nace turned to Ghost Nace when I got into the breakup and heard Wildflower. Ghost Nace was the thing that I stuck with after that, and then I became Ghostface Killah. Hence, like my real name is Nacio.
Oh,
my real name is that's my name, Nacio. That's my name. So that being my name is like the nickname is Nace. So like the Nace shit comes from my government. So like once I started to once Ghost Nace locked down, like it was like, you know, social networks became that, your MySpace or whatever the fuck, and then fucking like your you know, everything just coincides with that name. So then like I started to do graffiti, and then I didn't want to write Ghost Nace because I had my name in it. So like if I wrote my name in the school or around the school and it had Nace, everybody knew who Nace was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those. So there was like, it was like, what did Ghostface go by? Oh, he went by Tony Starks. All right, so Starks. So I write Starks, and Starks turns to Starks 1, turns to Starks Oneer, just turns to Starker. You know what I mean? So then it all just evolves into just you write a Starker now. So then like, that's my tag. You know, that's my tag before anything.
I was gonna say too, and like I love the way like it actually goes with like the whole homage to Ghostface now too, because like and even like the way that you just explained that story now too, because it shows like how Wu had the all Wu Gambino personas too, right? So on like they were like, for example, now for the people who don't know, on Only Built for Cuban Links, now that's a track that really shows it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, okay, that's crazy now. So, I was curious now, too, like, coming from your projects now, too, I really took a liking to your work with YL now. I was curious, is that your partner in rhyme?
Yeah, it's like my brother. That's not my brother in a scientific form, but that's my brother, bro. So, like, that's definitely, like, the person that I choose to work with because it just makes sense. Like sonically, like we just so, and personally, like we're like the moon and the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like we're completely opposite. Like if you put us in in a graph, you'd see that there's like not much in common but music. You know what I'm saying? And dressing maybe. Other than that, we're like we don't do the same things, we don't live the same life, and like it's so far apart that it just goes. It goes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind working with him as opposed to maybe working with somebody that might have the same energy as me. It's cool, but it won't be as fun for the listener to get all aspects. Like when we could work together, it becomes sonically not one dimensional. You know what I mean? Like we become multifaceted as a group. So that's definitely a good choice. Like you know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna do a project, I'm doing it with my nigga Wild. You know what I mean? So he is that's more than my rap friend. You know what I'm saying? Like we make music, but that's my brother. You know what I mean? Real shit.
Yeah, you guys have a friendship outside of music.
Oh, big time. I call him, talk to him all day. You know what I'm saying? We chit chat, whatever, anything. We you know what I'm saying? It's not music. Music is the end result of like our friendship. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, we really like we kicking it on like another level. You know what I mean? That's one of the very very few people that actually get a phone call from me. You know what I mean? Type of shit. And my mother. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Okay. Now, it even shows like with the chemistry now on Knuckleheads and that EP and the other EP you guys have Smoke.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know, it's all on. You can find them all now. This is strictly fire right here. Now, when you ventured off into your solo work now too, that 3.5. That was hard. I am gonna lie, that was hard party right now too.
Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I like how you call it like 3.5 now too, because if you're like a weed smoker and if you ever like burn through like a whole eighth in like that one day, it was like, yo, I kind of want more.
Mhm.
I was just wondering, like, is like why the name 3.5 and all the tracks like going like 5, 10 points.
I'll keep it a buck. That's coke talk.
Oh, okay. So that's some of that. So that's okay.
So yeah. 3.5 is coke talk. So what that is that's basically me tracking it down by increments of what would be broken down coke in the streets. So you get a 0.5. That'll be whoever. It could be a 40, it could be a 60. It depends on who you're dealing with. But whatever the case may be, that's what it refers to. So that's why I'm going with that. And it was just a clever way to display the intensity of each song. Because if you listen to 0.5, it's just a little, it's a little something. It's cool. And
yeah.
Keep going in deeper. And it may not be a matter of length, but the last song is definitely the most intense song, and so on and so forth. The song gets more and more intense. So I'm really breaking it down as a high. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, now I get it now. See, and that's why I love when artists do interviews now, because like for the average listener now, they may fly like right over their head now because they're not in tune with that now too. Speaking of some of that coke rap now, they have some classic albums now too, like Scarface's The Fix, Clips, Hell Half, No Fury. I remember like Double XL like had a article on that shit now. So I was curious, like outside of Wu-Tang, who did you discover like more in that era?
Yeah. Wu-Tang is just like that's really surfaceable understanding of the music. I'm big on a lot of people, man. I'm big on Tribe. I'm big on Black Star. I'm big on Little Brother. I'm big on Ill Bill. I'm big on Nonfiction. I'm big on Outkast. I'm big on Dr. Octagon, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh wow, Dr. Octagon, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have a real love for music to be somebody to listen to him, because you might listen to him and think he's whack. You know what I'm saying? You might listen to Dr. Doom and think like, what the fuck is this? And Black Elvis, but like that shit is actually hard. Like to me that's the real that's the foundation of like experimental rap. Like if you want to talk about all these niggas that want to rap weird now and all this stuff, he's the first. I ain't never heard anybody do that shit before him.
Yeah, Kool Keith is like he has so much different personas now too. Like like Doctor, I love how you said Dr. Octagon now. I was like, wow, so you're familiar, like, so you dug, so like even like people like Company Flow, I'm guessing you heard of.
Yeah, that's nothing. Company Flow, the Weatherman, you know what I'm saying, all that shit. Smart Peddlers, all that shit. High and Mighty. They don't stop. You name it, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a student before anything. Like, the whole Raucous, Lyricist Lounge, all of that shit, I was on it. Like, there was nothing really missed me. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't too many things that you could mention that I didn't hear. You know what I mean? I was really doing my homework.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. And that's good to hear now too, because you have a more appreciation for the art now too, because you're hearing like a bunch of different experiences now people are putting into this music now too. I like how you once said you listen to everything but country, and I'm with you. Not that. Well, actually, I'm just gonna shit on country. I fucking hate country. I ain't gonna front.
Nah, it is what it is. If you don't like country, you don't like country. But that's literally like, I say that because. So another thing is like, I understand that when I was younger, I used to have. I had, my father had like one of the first like cable sets. So like when there was like 100 channels, like one shit got crazy and there was more than that, and it started getting satellite and shit. My father had it, so that shit came with those channels in the end, like all the way in the fucking back, in like the 800s.
Yeah,
and those shits would be music channels. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would do all of them. There was not one that I didn't give a shot, but bluegrass and country. Other than those, everything got played. There wasn't one thing that I wasn't giving a shot. I promise you, everything else was getting even alternative, or anything. I would listen to it and I would find something that I like. You know what I mean?
Okay, now that must have like gave you like a more versatile feel to hours for music now too. Like I can only imagine like when you got to hear like collaborative sounds too, like a Jurassic 5 or like an Odd Future, because they mix sounds.
Yeah, like really Jurassic 5 I heard before Odd Future, but when I started hearing like a Jurassic 5 or Roots, or like, people that were having more fun with the sound, it was something that was like, it wasn't necessarily what started my interest into music, but it was definitely something that I could get with. Like I could get with Cage, and I could get with now Cage isn't really a good example, but like I could get with like Vast Air, somebody like that, like somebody that doesn't necessarily is not hardcore, but they have like a more of a voice, what I mean? In their like I could get with that, so I did it. I gave everybody a shot. Everybody definitely got a listen from me. I know all the albums, but the real question is, did I go back to them? Not really. A lot of people didn't get to go back, but I definitely gave everybody a shot.
Okay, too, and it's like that's good to hear now too. Like you actually go back instead of go listen to it one time now too, and like that's what gives like appreciation and like album. Like I like to call it deep album listening, because like that's an art that's like lost, because like people like to skim through, but if you like sit down and like actually like listen to these albums now, like the prime example again, Only Built for Cuban Links now too. Yeah, there's a lot of coke talk, but a lot of people don't know like that album is about running sticks.
The album's about a lot. The album has a lot of knowledge too. If you deal with knowledge, the album has a lot of jewels.
It does.
Wise words being spoken by Papa Wu, rest in peace. So
Oh, R.I.P. Papa Wu right there. So you having like a good history of the background within hip hop, and like actually like knowing the history of it. Like I said, you met Juju from the Beatnuts in Goblin Studio now too. So I was kind of curious on like, cause knowing like the history of the Beatnuts, like what was that kind of reaction when you seen like Juju walk in, or like did you kind of have like reactions on social media prior before that?
Well, I met him before social, really. Like when I met him, social wasn't really a thing. Like MySpace and was maybe I had like MySpace music on my homepage. Yeah. If you dig deep and you go into like, or not MySpace, but like Facebook. If you go into like Facebook music, you might find my first page as Stalker Music or some shit, and like you can find I took pictures of Juju in the studio. I took pictures of Fame in the studio. Like so, I used to be in the studio and I bumped into him, and he took a liking to me. Like I would be with him and Psycho, but like he just took a liking to me, and it was so cool that he did, because he just so happened to produce One. He just so happened to produce The Theme on Supreme Clientele. He just so happened to produce so many things that I just happen to like. You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, so this is the dude that produced that. He's not really out here giving beats up like that. He gave me a CD, and the CD had a couple beats, and he was like, pick it, tell me which ones you like. So I picked two of them shits, and he was like, oh, that's crazy, because so-and-so wanted it as an interlude or whatever. So he gave me both of them, and I ended up just using one of them. I had another one, and I lost that shit, man. It was on a BlackBerry, and if I find that BlackBerry and the flash drive that it was on, I could play it for niggas. But other than that, I dug deep in my email, and I never found it. Yo, I had a lot of shit. That was just like gems, and like it all kind of left in with that BlackBerry.
Oh yeah, too, and like so, I'm pretty sure like you learned your lesson from that too. Now, like, do you like always have like backups of stuff like that you do now, just in case of like something goes wrong?
I mean, I'm not tech savvy. I just keep my trust in my friend that is tech savvy, and that's why once again. So like that's like he got my music. Nobody got as much music of mine as him. I record most of my music in his house.
Oh damn.
And if I didn't record it in his house, I recorded it in somebody else's house, and I got them sending him the music. Like they send him what he needs. He needs the stems. He needs this and that. He'll get it. But I'm trying to become more. That's one thing that this little situation that we're dealing with right now is teaching me to be a little more sufficient with my actual music making and keeping. So I have a little like 2 terabyte hard drive and shit, but that doesn't really scratch the surface to like the music that Y has on his computer. I just happen to have like I think the bootleg collection, and I got 3.5 all organized down to like the artwork, all the little nitty gritty shit. But I'm not too tech savvy to make a long story short.
Okay. Like also like one of the standout tracks like that I heard too was like the Tom Clancy with you and Zumo now too, like even like down to the artwork now too. I was like, damn, like that was just a single now too, but like even like down to the artwork of that too was like incredible now too. But I was curious, is that like a homage to, like Rainbow Six?
That's exactly what it is. That's the first line. I said I'm switching ratchets like it's Rainbow Six. Like when you're walking around in the game and you get to like it's like a first person view and you get to see the gun change in your hand. Like I was saying like that. Like I said, I'm switching ratchets like it's Rainbow Six, collecting bodies of amphibians. I hold the shotty like an idiot. So like that, and I was just like, I know Rainbow Six. I used to play that when I was little. So I looked for the artwork and I just flipped it and bounced it into a way that was palatable for, me and Zumo's brand. And then it became something that you had to know that. But other than that, a lot of people never seen that game. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, what the fuck? This shit is hot. Good artwork or whatever. You know what I mean? But for those that know, you know what I mean? If you're my age or you around my age, you have PlayStation and shit. So you was going to do that. I even had ideas of doing like Siphon filter shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of games that I want to fuck with.
See, like, that's, like, the beauty of it, too. Like, that's what I really like when artists, like, take, like, video games and, like, they switch it up right now, too. Because when you say that now, to a lot of people, if they never, like, played that game, too, like, that line will go right over their head, too. They're like, well, what does he mean by Rainbow? It must be in New York. And it's like, nah, man, this is a game. Like, because, like, people may know Tom Clancy for the books only now, too. But if you're, like I said, from our area now, you know those games. And, like, even you, like, doing other tracks like Snipe and Filter now, too. Like, I was curious if have you ever like considered like doing like a full project like something like that, or instead of just a single?
I don't know. I never know. Right now, I got a lot of projects in work. Like I'm working really more on this tape called Mothra. Mothra is a tape that's like been worked on for like 5 years. So that's not necessarily a video game. That's like a movie character. So I'm always dealing with something that I really like. And like if I make what's most original is my name. So my name is the most original thing. I have other things that I owe, like that I just pay homages to and owe to, and like if you know what it is, you could appreciate it. But for the most part, good artists copy, great artists steal. So like if you good at it, if you could palatably take something and make it almost unrecognizable to the conscious eye, like you get away with something almost. You know what I'm saying? So like I just try to do that. But as far as like a whole project that's themed out, the bootleg collection. Not necessarily that wasn't something original, even though there is other projects and other genres that are called the bootleg collection. Mine is completely different because the bootleg collection was just like I said it in the interview already, so if you want to check that out you could do that, but it was just a matter of like I had a feeling when I went to a store on Jamaica Avenue, and it just made me feel like this old feeling, like almost like Sports Lane and shit, when you used to go to back in the day and you would see all these jerseys and North Face and everything you wanted today in one shop. And it's like if you had the presence of mind, you were buying it back then. And if you like, if you know what I mean, if you just like some type of ironic person right now that just wants to look cool, you might be copying the shit. But like, you wasn't around for that. You wasn't around for like the camp store and like Paragon, and like just Paragon still there, but like just the way it was back in the day when it was like carrying all the hot shit and not necessarily the the things that you could just get now, like the things that people actually want now that they didn't know that they wanted then, type of shit.
Yeah, because cause in New York compared to Canada now, that's very different now too. Because we had like barely any stores that were very in tune with like the culture within the clothing, where you can actually get these name brand stuff like that now too, as it compared to New York now. But I understand where you're coming from, though. I get that now too, because like one of the things like with the bootleg collection now too kind of remind me of like when I used to like go down to that shop and pick up like those mixtapes, like example like the Rake wants heroin only, or like the GameStop Stitch and Stop Line, or things like that. So like that other album that you said that's like 5 years in the making, Mothra now too, is that like inspired by that fictional monster by
Yeah,
Godzilla?
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. I got a couple. I got a song out called American Sniper. That's definitely off of Mothra. It has pictures of Mothra in it, so you can see Mothra behind me. And then I got Bob Barker, and Bob Barker is another video that you can see all the Mothra stuff behind me. But like um, Mothra is the fictional character, exactly Godzilla's first. Pretty much the first person to go up against Godzilla. But like, I like Mothra a lot because it's kind of like also if you're a fan of Doom, Doom has gained King Ghidorah, you know what I mean? So like I like King Ghidorah, but if there was ever gonna be like a Monster Island situation, like who's Mothra? Like whoever bigged up Mothra, even like you can't necessarily say that Godzilla is Power March, but when you hear that sound, you automatically identify it with him. So I think it'd be hard for somebody to say that they Godzilla if anybody would be Foul March. And then you definitely got Doom out here claiming King Ghidorah. So I just like Mothra because nobody's really fucking with her, and that's I like her. Like I personally like that whole. Out of all the monsters, that was the one that I liked the storyboard for. Like that was the one that I liked. I like the King Ghidorah story too, but Mothra was the most interesting one, and it's the most original one because Mothra is, like I said, Mothra is actually the reason why Godzilla pretty much came back out from underground. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for Mothra, Godzilla would have been in the dirt straight up. But then like he had reason to come out because Mothra was gonna come and destroy Tokyo.
Okay, now see, like this is why I love when artists do interviews now too, because I kind of had a feeling that was kind of towards like the Godzilla character villain that he faced, but like I didn't really like know. So this is why I love when artists do interviews now too. So I like how you broke it all down to even with the Fairmont reference now too. Wow. So you're really taking your time with this album too, because you said 5 years in the making now too. Wow. So they say like most ideas like something like brilliant like this come like at the most random ass times. I was wondering if like Mothra was like something to think for you, like when you're just watching Godzilla, it was like whoa, it all came to you.
Well, I went to Japan. So when I went to Japan the first time, I went. Ironically, too, it wasn't even on purpose. The first place I went to when I came out of Narita Airport, I get in the car with my boy Spike. My boy Spike driving me around with my other boy Yuda. We driving around with me and my baby mother at the time, my girlfriend at the time, my baby mother now. But like we driving around and shit, and we get to Tokyo Tower, and he's like, "Yo, get out the car, let's take a picture." That's the first picture I took practically. I took a picture maybe in the airport eating katsu, and then like I took a picture outside in front of Tokyo Tower. So it's just like lo and behold, that's exactly where Mothra landed when her egg got washed ashore. And
Damn.
you know what I mean? That's just where the word too. So that's why it all goes too. So when I went to Tokyo the first time, that was a subconscious thing that I didn't even know. Like it happened. I still didn't know about Mothra. I'm in Tokyo. I'm chilling with my boys, whatever. I still don't know about the like I'm not doing the knowledge to like all of that. So I leave it alone, and I go through my whole trip to Tokyo the first time. And then I'm talking about the bootleg collection and all that. And then, the bootleg collection is practically done. So then I release it. Bootleg does good or whatever. I plan another trip to Japan. I go to Japan the second time. I go with my boy YL, my dude Med, Triple R, the whole Triple R. We got our cameraman, our boys. We got a whole posse. We did like 10 deep, New York. We all went to Japan. So, and then we linked up with AK from the Underachievers. Peace to him. So we was really all over the place. And when we went to Japan the second time, before I went there, I already started planning themes out. So like I made a shirt for Japan, and it was the Godzilla shirt, the original poster for Godzilla, like the original image that you seen to promote the first Godzilla that was actually like Gojira and shit.
Okay.
I took that and you know what I mean? I took that and I just I changed the bottom from Godzilla to Triple R Season. And like when I was doing the knowledge to all of that Godzilla shit, I ended up at Mothra, of course, because I'm going in chronological order. I'm not getting messy with it. So I went from 1961 to 1964. You know what I mean? So right when I found Mothra as another Toho, science fictional monster and shit, I liked it, you know what I'm saying? And even my mother was like, yeah, Mothra. I remember Mothra with the two twins. Your grandfather used to put us on with that shit, you know what I mean? Like that, her father used to like make them watch that shit because he liked it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was just like, I bet, because she told me, she said, oh, you watching Godzilla? Because I think she seen me put it on Instagram, some shit. She said, oh, you need to watch Mothra. Mothra is the one, you know what I mean? I was like, all right. So my mom told me, and then I watched it, and then I was like, oh shit, lo and behold, Mothra ended up at Tokyo Tower, all this other shit. And then I was like, I bet. So it all just kind of themed up in my head, like the way you said, like it was like a random act of like, just like a brilliance. Like, yeah, it kind of was. But it came with other significant situations that made it make sense. So then by the time I went to Japan the second time, I'm already sitting down telling everybody, like, yeah, Mothra's going to come out. We're about to drop the Mothra tape. Like, I didn't know how long it was going to take, but I already knew I was conceptualizing it in that direction. And I was telling the Japanese because that's like me appreciating them so much. And they appreciated it off rip because they like Mothra. Everybody got Mothra in their room, even if it's just a little fucking figure. You know what I mean? So it was just like, and I got a good relationship with the Japanese. So it's just another one of those little bridges that I keep. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep my bridge between me and them because I appreciate them so much. So Mothra is just like, let them have fun with that, and then I'll get back to other projects that I got that are more close to Brooklyn. Like I got another project I'm working on called The Greenest Block, and that's about my neighborhood that I live in. It's like one of the more nicer areas in Brooklyn and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of got out the hood. So I got other odes to certain things, but like that's more something that I could point to that other people already know in their head. You know what I mean? It was Mothra. Some other things are like a little more original and shit.
Okay, wow. So it was kind of like a unwritten prophecy that you kind of like stumbled upon too. If you like going to Japan and all of it connecting like that brilliant moment. Wow. Well, like,
yeah.
Are you a big believer in destiny?
I mean, I don't know, man, but I even had my kid in Japan, man. Shout out to Baby Milo.
Oh,
you could already understand that. So like, I named my kid in Japan, and I named him Milo. So he's big. He is the Baby Milo. Like even forever, it'll just be Baby Milo.
Wow.
Like literally like the clothing brand.
Wow, that definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if if you or him gets a Bathing Ape sponsor in the future now. And see that wow, because you never know, man. Destiny will write itself.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Destiny is not that. Destiny is dealt with, but it's like if you point to your North Star and you follow that direction, you are fulfilling your destiny because you write your destiny. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm being more active towards my destiny rather than somebody that would sit back and just like wait for something to come to them. Like I am putting that effort towards that final. You know what I'm saying? That final accolade that I'm trying to reach.
Yeah. Okay, and I like how you said too, like that accolade too, like instead of just like I'm just trying to print out projects just to get notified too, because you're taking pride in your projects now too. With like each okay, I really can't wait for this project now too, and just to even know like the backstory on this now too will give me like a lot more appreciation. I was like, wow, this was like some kind of destiny or pointed to his North Star album I like to refer to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you should point to your North Star every day. That's just a way to fulfill, your destiny, to fulfill, your whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. That's the direction you have to go. You know what I mean? You can't forget that. And at the same time, if we all have the same message, we all gonna go that direction too. You know what I mean? But this is all something that I want and I'm gonna do, and I know that. So everybody knows Mothra is coming. It says it on my bio. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter how long it takes. I got 2 videos out. Everything's produced by my boy G-Dubs. G-Dubs is also a rapper. You got to look him up. G-Dubs is a rapper that also produces, and his production's crazy. He produced Witch Doctor, which is on Bootleg Collection. That's one of the craziest tracks he produced. Yeah, he's like one of the super producers. I can't further explain how good of a producer he is. He produced one of his own whole projects recently called Armory of Thought. So you could do the homework knowledge on him, and then you definitely end up probably having him on the show too. You know what I mean? Because he's definitely a matter of substance. You know what I'm saying? A subject is like he's one of the big homies for sure. I definitely give him that prop. That's my big homie, my boy Dubs, and there's a lot of people that I can shout out, like my boy Aldovino. Aldovino's my dude. My boy YL, my boy Mid. You know what I'm saying? My dude DJ Skiz. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that I could just talk about that definitely do do a great, they do a great help, just a great help to me, and they keep me in that competitiveness that makes me want to be who I'm trying to be in the first place. But you can get very comfortable when you do something real good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be like, oh, well, I did this album and this was good, so I could just chill now. Like, not really. Like, you got to kind of like stay in that cipher of people that keep you at, on your toes, kind of. Not trying to sound funny, but you know what I mean, real shit.
Yeah, like you like to be inspired by be inspired by your peers.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be inspired by your peers, and you got to be inspired, but you got to also be. It has to be competitive. You got to know you're the best, but you have to respect everybody in their right and see how they could be better than you at times if you don't work on your music or your craft as much as you should. Like, if you put those 20,000 hours perfect at what you do, you know what I mean? You might not be the best at this and that, but you'll be the best at what you do.
Okay. That's a gem right there too. That's a whole gem. So for the people who like are just getting in tune from you, like from like recent too, I was curious. Like, did you grow up in New York City?
Oh, big time. Yeah, I was born and raised in New York, from Brooklyn to Queens, real quick. Like the little borderline from Brooklyn to Queens. I definitely went back and forth like throughout the week. So that's how that went.
Oh, you a lucky man. You got to experience that real authentic hip hop of the birth of it by like coming from that environment now too, because like from the average person who's never been there now, but they listen to a lot of New York music as opposed to like you being born there now too. Wow, so that explains why you sound like so well over these hard ass beats now too. Like, I ain't gonna front, like the first time I heard you was over that what's it called again, Knack versus Lace, and I'll keep it all the way in mill like the beloved Fleelo. It says, when I heard that, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, I was already aware of Knack. He appeared on the show, but I was like, when I heard you, I was like, wow, how the fuck did I not hear this guy too? So I'll let myself know I was late, but when I did my research on him, I was like, wow, he can actually like put together a full project and like make it cohesive together now too. And that's why I wanted to like reach out now too, because I was like, well, what the hell is Mothra now too? And then now we actually get it now.
Yeah, man, it's all in the works, and like the Knack vs. Nace is something that I did as it was a favorable gesture for Crush a Lot podcast, because those are my people. So I definitely, when they told me about it, yo, we want to do a song with you and Knack, they gave me the beat. I said, I bet. Then I actually took a trip to Massachusetts, and I was locking down my boy Davino, and Davino and Knack are like 1 and 2. So
yeah,
we definitely all came together, and when we came together, it just made it more of a it was more genuine of a situation. So like, we got music that we did that ain't that song, and then like when I went back to New York, I did the verse, and I'm sure Knack did the verse too. Like, we spoke about it. I was like, oh, you know about that verse? We got to do it. Oh, yeah. And then like, whatever the case may be, when I laid it down and he laid it down, they put it together, sent me the mix and master. Flu even did a remix to the shit. I was like, yo, you like this? And I was like, it's cool, but it sounded like a remix. I like the original shit that I wrote to. He was like, all right, no doubt, I'll let you know what I'm gonna do. He didn't know if he was gonna go left or right. So then he hit me up and was like, all right, so I used the original beat. Here it is. And when he sent it to me, I posted it, whatever, and it got such a crazy fucking response. And it's, to me, it's like, you don't know what people are gonna like. You just gotta push shit out. But like, I'm not saying I didn't like that verse, but like, I didn't know it was gonna get like that. But
you didn't know it was gonna be on Hot 97.
Nah, I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I got my shit get played on Hot 97. It's been getting played since 2020, but it was more of the Smoke album for YL than any type of other song. And that song to be getting played on Hot 97 and in the form that it did, in the fashion that it did.
Yeah, did Rosenberg play that before that Smoke album?
Yeah, before that they was playing Smoke. They was running through with they was playing
I think I caught that episode.
Yeah, they played China Doll, and they played they played the Shit with Little Fame, Smoke, the actual, the title track of the album. So
okay, maybe I did hear of it before.
Yeah, you might have probably in Y too. They was playing Understanding, so they played a lot of Smoke, and then like when somebody heard that song, they were like, yo, send me that, you know what I mean, get it edited or whatever. So I got to edit it. Yo, man, shout out to my boy Top Shelf, by the way. That's a good dude, but you know what I mean? That's my man's. So when I got the shit sent to the person that asked me about the edit, he told me, yo, they're going to play it tonight or whatever. And like, I knew they were going to play it, but Son Rosenberg started off with the fucking song, and then he ran it back on Knack shit, through the horn, the bomb, the whole shit. And you name it, they was playing it, you know what I'm saying? So like, it got all the nooks and crannies that made it enthusiastic to listen to even on the radio. Like, it's not like he just let the shit play. He played it and ran it back and did all of that. So it's like, I know what people feel about that song, and it just goes to show, like, you never know, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know it was going to be like that. Like I said, I did not know.
Yeah, and plus too, like it's just your delivery too now too. It's like it makes like whoever like listens to that now too, or if you even get like a feel to like, wow, they're gonna do that research on you now too. So for the people who are just getting in tune with you now too, from beside your Bandcamp now too, do you have like a website or anything like that where they can cop merch, or that's not like in the works as of yet?
I mean, I got merch. If you DM me, I got merchandise. Like, if you DM me on Instagram and shit or Twitter, I have one or two things in the cut that, like, you know, I be keeping that shit for myself because I have a little bunker of shit that, like, you know, if all else, not if all else fails, but you know what I'm saying? If I get dramatic and or, you know what I'm saying, desperate and I sell my last copy of shit, I still got copies in the back, and I always do that. I always end up selling somebody my last copy, and then I go back to the fucking, you know, I got a little stash of like maybe 5 of each or whatever, and like I don't even know how many of what I got left, but I definitely got shit left for the people that want to have physical albums. But the bootleg collection was on Bandcamp for like $100 for a long time, you know what I mean?
Shit.
So like I just put it on iTunes, like on some like everybody dropping shit for the COVID, so I'm just giving y'all this because like I don't really feel like giving my new music out, but like here's, you know what I'm saying, like here's some old classic shit because I always had the presence of mind to keep things timeless. So like all my shit is like that. Like, you could do homework and find other projects. There's other things that are out there that are like very, very timeless. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like if somebody now finds me, yeah, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always knew that it was gonna be like this one day. So like I kept that presence of mind to keep a high quality in everything I do, and everything sounds cohesive. So you could go to my shit back then, and you could go to my shit now, and it's not like, oh, he had a phase that he was doing this and that. Nah, not really. Everything sounds the same. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, I noticed now too, like you're not opposed to like having features on your projects now too. So for Mothra now, is this gonna be like a solo Starker album, or is this gonna have like a feature or two on it? You don't have to say the names. I was just curious.
Yeah, you got a feature or two.
Okay. That's all we need to know. I like the element of surprise after that now too. Okay, because like some artists now, I want this to be mine without the features, or like I want to shine with my peers. So okay, that's good to hear that you're doing your skill set with your peers now too. That's like a true swordsman would.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a couple of features.
Okay, so as opposed to like with this new renaissance we have going on in hip hop now too, I was wondering because I believe you can speak things into existence now too. Maybe it already happened now, but do you have like a dream collaboration?
You know, I can't say that because like,
Or it may happen. Okay.
I don't know. I just don't. It'd be hard for me to be like, yeah, that's my dream collab. I definitely have people that I would like to work with. Like, I work with my boy Davino. You know what I'm saying? We got shit in the cut, so that's my dude. I like to work with him. He's somebody that I like to work with for sure because, like, I know that's historic music. That's music that's gonna be that shit out the pyramids type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of the Hammurabi's tomb type of shit. Like, it's not necessarily, you don't know, like, it's crazy. Like, that's the shit that I like to make. But I could already say that it's not necessarily a dream collab, but for anybody else, that's like fantasy music. Like, you could never hear something better. So, like, that's one of the best collabs going on as far as I'm concerned. But, like, I would like to work with Brownsville Ka, who is somebody who I spoke to, you know what I'm saying? But he's not necessarily a collaborative type of dude, but I would like to work with him. I would love to work with MF Doom. I would love to work with Alchemist.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know. Hey, Alchemist, you know he loves like coming up with these up and coming talent now too.
Mugs.
Yeah, Mugs is not opposed to that either. Yes, sir.
You know, all these people that want to, not necessarily all the people that want to make a part of them, like make themselves a part of this renaissance, because they could easily just turn their backs on it. But all the people that recognize it for what it is and want to get down with it, I'm trying to get that album in with them too, because keep it a buck, I already know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
and I don't mean like I like when I speak, I'm saying like I know what I mean to the game, so I know that it's very necessary. So I don't even want to just speak it into existence. I'm just gonna keep putting out my work and you know just see that it gets to the right ears or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But even if it don't, what I'm doing is already dream worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
already believe that.
Wow. Okay, I like how you brought that up too. Now too, I can only. Oh my god, I would fucking love to hear you over a Muggs beat now too, because that shit he did with Ito now too. Oh my god, fire, fire.
Yeah. That shit is crazy. He did a lot of crazy shit. Even the shit he be doing with Mayhem is crazy. Like I like the way Muggs makes beats that are not textbook hip hop, and it's only not textbook hip hop because he's using guitar riffs. And if you could appreciate other genres, you know, or maybe he'll use like some type of ambient, fucking just another genre of music. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. He's never sampling the same sample as another person, and you could always appreciate that in his stuff. And I just like that he keeps it at an up tempo. So that's something that I'm always dealing with. 92, 3, 1 BPM. You know what I'm saying? Like his shit type like that. You never hear Muggs on some slow shit, really. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually pretty true. So like even like with that being said now too, like being very in tune with like what you mean to the culture now too. You like the real lyricism too now too. Like I like how you said like Brownsville Ka now. That's a legend right there now. How is it like actually like talking with him?
Man, I'll be honest with you. He deals in equality. He must, because he really seen me and like just was like, yo, you know, I walked into the room looking for him, and before I could find him, he's yo, and I looked and I was like, oh shit. So he recognized me when I walked in. I said, oh, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? I talked to him and I built with him real quick, and it's just like he didn't make you feel like he was who he is. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, he means so much that like the man don't even got to speak. You could just walk asking me questions or whatever the fuck the hell I answer them. But he was very adamant to speaking on a one-on-one basis that was not necessarily a textbook rap conversation. It was very much just man to man. Like, hey, how you doing? How's everything? How's life? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, everything's cool. I just came back to Zenda. And, you know, oh man, that's what's up. You know what I mean? Yo, how's everything with you? It was almost as if I already knew him. You know what I'm saying? Because I spoken to him on social, but then when I seen him in person, it was already a matter of like, oh, finally, you know what I'm saying? Like, we actually get to speak in person. So it was one of those things that I'll never forget. I should definitely say that. I don't think it's gonna be the last time I'm speaking to him either. But until then, I ain't gonna forget that moment.
Okay, and it's like one of those priceless moments now too. Like that will always stick with you throughout your life now, lifetime too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's been a lot of those situations. I stood in when Fat Beats was still around. I stood in the line of Fat Beats. And I was there 3 hours early for the signing of Purple Tape. So I was there before everybody, and like
damn.
I kind of like was annoying the people that I was a young dude too with my boy, and I was being annoying to the people that were working there type of shit. But like they kind of like was like, all right, fuck you can kick it, because I think I like ended up giving them like a box of Entenmann's cookies or some shit. Like they niggas were smoking, you know what I'm saying? So they took. I wasn't smoking at the time, but they took it. And I remember I was on some graffiti shit, so I used to like rack at CVS, and I had like a CVS card. So I went to CVS and I bought a couple of things, and I came back like, here, like y'all don't have to look at me so much like, what is he buying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could chill, because they know I just wanted to be the first in line.
Yeah.
So I definitely have a lot of moments prior to rap that are very like unforgettable, you know what I'm saying? Type of shit that you definitely can't forget, because like it helped mold you into the artist that you are today.
Yeah, that's very true now too, and it reflects on your artistry now too when you go back and listen to it now. Do you go back and listen to like a lot of your old stuff that you haven't put out, or like some of your upcoming stuff, and like you're like, man, I can't wait to like put this out? Or even like with your old stuff, like do you ever like hear some of your old stuff you never put out and kind of rework it, or that's not kind of your style?
I mean, I had a lot of old shit that I was sitting on, and I ended up making it a series called $25. And if you contact me in a proper fashion, I could definitely make them available to you, because they're only in digital form. But
oh shit,
it's yeah. So it's like a 1 through 5, $25, 1 through 5, and there's 5 tracks in each of them, and all of those tracks are tracks that are necessarily what you're saying of like, oh, you listen to your old work. Those are the ones that I used to just listen to that had no place anywhere. That I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a project. I'm gonna make it exclusive. I'm gonna make it for the supporters, and like everybody that bought that has basically like a little into my email, because those were the songs that were just sitting in there getting dusty, because like they had nowhere to go. They didn't make it to this project. They didn't cut the mustard at that time and place, but it doesn't mean that they weren't good. So like I kind of have, it's like if you ever, you know, when you take a car and you use everything and then there's nothing left, and whatever's left you make, you know, if you're making beef Chevys and shit, like I'm like that. Like I'll definitely use the fucking innards of my fucking work, and I'll still make it look good. You know what I mean? And you would never know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I like how you do that for the fans as well now too. Um, so being like an artist who's very in tune with his value and like how he knows how he wants to present himself in art too. Wow, I can only imagine what you have upcoming in the future now too. Um, so for I have two more questions for you, then I'll let you go. So being in a day of social media now too, and your name being Ghostface Killah now, I just have to ask from like a fan's perspective now too, like how much times did people like tag you and they meant to take Ghostface Killah? I just gotta ask.
It doesn't happen as much as I expected to, but it definitely does happen. So when it happens, I don't disregard. Like I don't pay no mind. I hope the person just gets it. You know what I mean? Like I hope somebody. I don't want to hit them up like, hey, that's not me, but listen to my music anyway. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, yeah.
No,
Whatever.
because I get what you're trying to do with it now, but like for the average person, like, oh, he's just trying to do this, but I get what you're trying to do with it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if you want to be an average person, if you're an average person, my shit ain't bait like that. Like I'm not really trying to bait it out, but like I would like to think somebody that appreciates Ghostface could appreciate my music. So even if you stumble my shit by mistake like that, I think it'll work out anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think you will go too left.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. If anything, they become a fan after now too.
Yeah, so it's not like I did that on purpose, but just speaking about it right now, I'm just like, I don't see that shit going the wrong way either. Or like, if whoever he was realized, I wouldn't be surprised if a fan told me that. Like, yo, I was actually meant to type Ghostface and I seen his shit. Nobody ever said that, but I wouldn't be surprised because like in social media day now it is happening that like you will fuck up and I will pop up as you type in Ghost and everything says Ace Killah, so you might think that the end is a F real quick and whatever, and you're just doing it real quick, or you might not see what you know what I mean. Like it happens. So when it happens, like I said, even the worst thing that could happen is they go on my page and listen to my music, and really, what's so bad about that?
Yeah, and like I bet you like 9 out of 10 times now to become a fan, and they're like, wow, shit, this was my Agatha. Okay, we fucking with this now. Hit the follow.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
So Stark, this is the last question I ask all my guests now. The reason why I ask this question now too is because no individual can ever answer this question the same, and also there could be somebody who like really looks up to you and like really like here's that like that little bit of motivational and gets them through like their day, because like for one of your fans now too, like, oh shit, he's like me. So with that being said, do you have any words for somebody in a dark place trying to see the light?
Oh man, if you're in a dark place and you're trying to see the light, honestly, I would say to look within yourself, man. You gotta look within yourself and know that you know you are God, and everything starts and ends with you, man. So if you really want to live out God, you gotta show and prove, man, and you gotta walk and talk this. So in order to do that, you gotta get knowledge yourself. So the best thing I would suggest is to get some knowledge yourself. That's the best thing and you can't get that on the internet. You definitely gotta look for elders or another man that has wisdom, another wise man that speaks this and walks and talks this, and you definitely have to just see within yourself that anything is possible if you want to take it there, honestly.
Oh, I like how you said that too. Like it's not on the internet; it's like something you gotta look for deep down inside, and that's facts right there. You speaking people.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now is there anything that you want the people to know before? I mean, so is there anything that you want to plug into the people before I let you go?
Shout out to all my fans. Shout out to all my fans in Canada, man. I got a lot of those. I do a lot of shipping in Canada, man. I do a lot of shipping in Canada. I got my fans in Montreal. I got my fans in Vaughan, Ontario. I know that address because yeah. I just know because I ship my shit. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely shout out to all the supporters out there, man. Y'all the best, man. Real shit. All my supporters in Toronto. All my supporters in Montreal. All my supporters in Vancouver, all over. I really, really appreciate y'all. And anybody else who's listening, if you support my music, I appreciate it. If you don't, give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. I'll tell you that right up front.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, anytime. So with that being said, it's not a classic interview. I know I say classic a lot, but I really do be dropping classics. With that being said, it's not a classic interview from Desk Low featuring Stalker.